Yeah, you can start now.
Okay, so the first topic I'm going to talk about is about uh, the US uh, government giving grants to a few companies to build certain amounts of semiconductor infrastructure in their country.
Okay.
So maybe initially, I think so during the mid of April, I heard this news about TSMC receiving some grants from US government to build a chip factory in Phoenix, Arizona. So this is part of a act which is known as the Chips and Science Act, which was brought into legislation in back in August 2022. So uh, wait a minute. I think the full form of chips was just let me have a look. Yes, the full form of chips in Chips and Science Act is creating helpful incentives to produce semiconductors. So the whole idea behind this act was that to reduce US's dependency on other countries for critical hardware components for uh, computing devices. So and and right now they are acting upon it. So yes, as I've said, uh, first in this month, TSMC received some around 6 billion, around somewhere around 6 billion to build this chip factory, and then again Samsung also received around again around $6 billion to build. No, they already have all these two companies. They already have their uh, some kind of manufacturing facilities. It's just to expand those existing facilities. And last month, even Intel got some grant for similar kind of projects. And I think so. Micron, there's another company named Micron, and they mostly, I think so, they are primarily known for manufacturing memory chips, memory related hardware devices. So all these companies are receiving those grants. So the main idea, as I've said, is that they are trying to reduce their reliance. So, and this specifically comes because of the vulnerability of TSMC. So, so the TSMC is situated, their main headquarters is situated in Taiwan, and that's a very politically or geopolitically, that's a very risky area right now because China is China claims that this is a part of China, and while Taiwan, they claim that they are separate from China, and so it's a very disputed area. So if something were to happen to this area, there will be a whole shortage of these chips, and these would definitely affect uh, yeah, all the other countries, but it will also affect USA. And why USA is more concerned is because they are perceived to be the leaders, the political leaders of the world. And if the critical requirements, infrastructure requirements in terms of technology is hampered, so they will lag behind. And one of their main enemies is China. So they are so again, China can uh, play a role in uh, reducing this in creating this disruption. So because of all those purposes, they are trying to uh, secure their own uh, the supply chain of this hardware. So that's why they're trying to manufacture those critical components in their own country. So that's the reason why they are investing so much money in them. So yes.
So they don't really want to set up their own companies. They're just giving those foreign companies to start building it, manufacture it in the US itself.
Yes, but it's not necessarily all foreign companies. So yes, Samsung and TSMC are foreign companies, but they have also given grants to Intel and Micron. Both of them are US companies. So the idea is that as long as things happen in within US, and there are certain I think so requirements that it's not that just you can manufacture here and uh, import to your native countries. There will be some kind of restrictions. I assume so, that there might be some kind of restriction, but the thing is that manufacturing should happen in their country, and for that, and yes, so if manufacture happens in their country, it's not only will they be secure in terms of their supply chain, they will also get more jobs, they create more jobs and such kind of things. So as far as technology is concerned, they are already, US is already the leader, but they are only leaders in the software area, and the when if you know about Silicon Valley and all the tech companies out there, but in terms of manufacturing, all of it goes to other countries like China. So they want to establish their dominance in that area as well. So that's the idea.
One of the reasons like manufacturing is done in other countries is to lower the cost of production, right?
Yes, yes.
But if it and the labor cost of labor will be much higher in US.
So
So
maybe that,
ultimately the price of chip also will go up if it is produced or manufactured in the US.
yes, maybe that's why they are probably giving these grants. I think so. That's the idea behind it. Because if a company were to independently on their own accord they create a manufacturing center in USA, they have to invest more money, give all the laborers all of those money. But now the government is giving them money. That okay, take money from us and build everything. So I think so. That's the rationale behind giving them the money, that so that they don't have to uh, the companies like or TSMC, Samsung, Micron, Intel, they don't have to use their own money to set up those factories. So since they don't have to spend their own money, so they won't be affected too much, because they are using the grant money to uh, I would say start those things. But yes, I'm even yes, you have made a good point about how they will tackle the cost issues. So it remains to be seen what happens there.
Yeah. Because like even if they use the grant, like there will be some limit to how long they will provide the grants. Like up to a certain point,
Hmm.
it's to be they need to reinvest their own profits or revenue.
Yes. So yes, so that's an issue. So I don't know how they are going to tackle that, but yes. So I think so. This was all about this issue, this topic. So you can
Yeah.
talk about the other next topic.
Yeah, so let's start by talking about the AI search engines.
Okay.
So AI search engines are like the perplexities
Ah.
and even what is it, Bing to some degree.
Hmm.
So instead of talking about the products, we will just try to differentiate, see what are the advantages or disadvantages of normal traditional search engines and AI search engines.
Okay.
So AI search engines can be useful like when we want to find some information that is deep inside some niche kind of information.
Hmm. Okay.
So uh, this kind of AI search engines or that uses large language models,
Hmm.
if they have been already trained with the information that we want,
Hmm.
they will immediately just provide the information instead of me going through three, four, or maybe tens of number of links, reading
Okay.
through all the like finding the information deep inside.
Hmm.
So that time consumption of those kind of information, of finding those kind of information will be reduced for AI search engines.
Hmm.
And how should I say, Perplexity or this kind of new companies, they like try to market themselves as like a Google replacement, or
Hmm.
even when this kind of services are coming out, there's a lot of hype that it's the end of Google,
Yes.
like traditional search engines is done.
Hmm.
But if you think about it, the purpose of traditional search engines is more than just to find information.
Yes.
So firstly, they are used for something called they're used for navigation queries. Basically, you use Google to go to a different website
Yes, yes. Get it.
that you cannot do with AI search engines or the complexity.
Hmm.
Second, kind of query or search query will be real-time queries where you are looking for, let's say, match scores.
Hmm.
There is no guarantee that the LLM, the score or the text that the LLM will produce is actually correct.
Hmm.
So if you are trying to look at the score that is happening right now, live score matches that is,
Yes, yes.
you have to use Google or this kind of search is not AI search engines.
Hmm.
Because the chances of hallucination is quite high.
Okay.
Uh, Only kind of use case where AI search engines are better is for where the informations are buried quite deep inside,
Yes.
and maybe for exploratory queries, right? You want to
Learn
know
something.
about certain topic
Yes.
instead of reading from articles. If you give exactly what you kind of what exactly what you want to know, if you
Hmm.
frame
Yes.
the prompt correctly,
Hmm.
instead of going through so many hundreds of paragraphs, you will get the answer coming immediately.
Yes.
So my my point of like my opinion is that we should not see this as AI search engine versus traditional search engines. It will most likely be a combination of two.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Even
Even.
even in Edge nowadays, if you just do a simple in Bing itself, you do some kind of search
Hmm.
along with the links, it will also create the
Summary.
generated summary. So
Yes.
you're getting the best of both. And also, modern browsers or modern search engines are they provide more services like you can get calculator built in
Hmm. Yes.
if you want to convert like for example if you type convert some this currency to that currency,
Yes.
the converter is also sometimes pops up.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes flight booking services are there separately.
Okay.
So they provide a lot of services that just saying that AI search engines will replace traditional search engines is not doesn't make sense at least now.
Yes. Yes. That's that's a good.
Also, yeah, and also what should I say, the monetization. So the way monetization will take place in LLM is not clear, right?
Hmm.
So all these browser search engines are free.
Hmm.
If you want to use a good model, it's paid now.
Hmm.
And the kind of what should I say, the kind of computation required for LLM search engines is quite high compared to traditional search engines. So
Yes.
most likely they will not just keep it free.
Definitely not. Yes.
If they're supposed to keep it free, they will have to come up with some kind of ad monetization.
Yes.
But then how do you integrate ad monetization into generated text if, for example, you want to you are looking for some information
Hmm.
that is supposed to be factual.
Hmm.
You cannot insert some kind of sponsored ads there that won't make
Yes.
sense.
Hmm.
In Google, it's all right because you can just ignore it. You know that this is just ad. I can ignore it. I can just go to the real source.
Hmm.
But in LLM, it will be part of the text.
Ah.
So yeah, those are some of the points. And when comparing AI search engines and traditional search engines. So do you have any opinions regarding this? So
Yes. About the ads, I think so. Yes. Yes. Personally, I don't like ads. I think so most people don't like, but still, uh, I think so. There may be a way to integrate ads in. If you create the user interface in such a way that there is one, maybe you might have seen some websites that on one corner it's all ads, irrelevant of whatever you're searching or reading. So
right,
I think so. It might not be as efficient, but instead of directly in deceiving people by putting words in their answers that they're giving in their prompt, as putting ads in their prompt. They can create a separate tab and show ads and those things. So yes, personally I don't like ads. I don't maybe even in YouTube and everything else, I have taken certain measures to remove ads as much as possible. So that thing aside, but still yes. And even as you said, the cost is much higher in while generating an answers for an LLM as compared to a search engine. And apart from that, yes, they won't be able to show as much targeted ad as as a traditional search engine. So yes, margin, the profit margin will be definitely less. So they will have to come up with something else. I think so. Yes, subscription model is one thing that's the only means. I think so. That's the logical thing to do. But again, people who have, I think so, who can afford to do this, for them it's easy. But suppose if suppose someone, a school kid, is trying to use this for their project, so
Yeah.
how many LLM models are they going to subscribe to just because of that? So yes, there's a question. That means there is a limitation. As they'll have to come up with a viable business model to this.
And also, I think one at this kind of stage, keeping up with this kind of services also is very technical. Meaning
But
it has not reached a point where just a layman can just use a model without having to figure out like which model am I using? Is it like Claude 3, Opus, is it Llama?
Mhm.
Like for example, like Google, no one
Yes,
bothers to know if it is Google, if it is DuckDuckGo. They just know I need to go to Google and search the information.
yes.
But now you need to keep up with like how many parameters, what is the context window, what kind of.
Mm.
So like there's a lot of technicality involved right now.
Yes, yes.
And I think because I found out, like I realized this when I was talking to some few people in my office.
Mm.
Many people don't even know Google Gemini.
They don't know,
Yeah, they don't know that Google Gemini is like a chatbot that exists.
and they work at a tech company, means they have software developers, and they
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
Gemini. Okay,
So many people are not keeping up with this information.
okay.
So they don't even know Google Gemini. So surely they don't know like Llama 3, the open source models.
Yes, yes.
So
Mistral
the
and all those things.
Mistral.
Yeah.
So there must come a point where just someone like it initially when only ChatGPT was there,
Hmm.
and the term became anonymous with AI, right? ChatGPT.
LLMs, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of not anonymous, anonymous. So until that kind of situation comes up, uh, I guess it won't become mainstream like that,
Yes,
where
yes.
it comes by default.
Hmm. So
People now have to decide to choose.
yes. Uh, does I forgot. Does Perplexity have the option of choosing the model which they use? I
I don't think it's there in Perplexity, but
there is some service. I don't know. It feels like I might have heard somewhere or watched some video which says that it's like a search engine, but you can choose which model you want to use to answer your questions. For example, if when you go to a browser, when you open a browser, you can type the search engine Bing, DuckDuckGo, or Yahoo, Google. So,
yeah,
there is it also depends on the browser. Certain browsers have a default search engine. When you type, for example, Bing by default, sorry, Edge by default has Bing as their search engine. So you can change it,
mhm.
but so I think so in the future there has to be some kind of browser, or maybe yes, a browser like thing where you can have a default, instead of a search engine, there are default LLM engine or something like that, or you can choose that which.
I think there has to come a point where like few search engines this kind of companies are established.
I think so. Perplexity will become one of those.
Yeah, maybe
And
complexity will become, but at this point, like there are many alternatives. If you really dive deep into many services of of
yes,
this nature are coming.
uh,
So
but
at a certain point, like perplexity may become on Google itself,
yes,
like few
uh,
others, which will become like some like the initially how Google was on DuckDuckGo.
hmm.
Like few search engines will become mainstream or like established. So I think that kind of scenario has to happen for this thing to become mainstream where people don't have to think what
Exactly.
is this, like what kind of model is it
Uh,
being used or something.
so yes, yes, and I think so. Have you heard of this Gartner hype cycle?
No, not really.
I think so. Yes, on this cycle, this chart will help you. Means will help us understand in which phase this technology. Let me just uh, maybe share my screen and show it to you. I heard of it maybe 2 3 years ago, but this is. Let me just. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So, so this is the concept behind the. So whenever a new technology comes, so there is this thing. I think so. This is the very recent one, but this applies to any technology in the history of mankind. So initially there will be an innovation trigger, which means that uh, then who means only the people who are working in that area, only they will know.
Mm.
Okay. Then over time this will get popular and popular and popular. And for example, generative AI, I think so. These LLMs and everything, this will reach this stage called the peak of inflated expectations. So even here, the people who are very much into that field, in case of generative AI, people who are very much excited about AI and all of those things. In maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, in case of EV, this was the area. Only people who were very much into renewable energy, electric vehicles, only they knew about what EV was. The general public, they don't have any idea about what EV is. The same goes about generative AI. So right now, people who are really into it, this area, only they know. But again, the concept of peak of inflected expectation is that people expect too much about from that technology. They think that this is going to change the world forever, and means the expectations are very inflated from that particular technology, whatever it may be. Right now, I think so. The AI is in that stage. And then what will happen is that since the technology will not be able to deliver whatever people were expecting from the technology, everybody will start to abandon that thing, and then they'll reach the trough of disillusionment. That people are disillusioned, then it feels like they are being betrayed. They thought this is going to change the world, but now everybody will just uh, stop using. Most people, not everybody, but most people will just get out of touch about it, and then the technology will mature, and now that technology will become part of everybody's life. No one will question it. Man, they'll think that yes, it's obvious. I think so. EV is probably is in this slope of enlightenment stage. It's not a niche anymore, and there is no inflated expectations. At least in the US and even in India, people there are electronic EVs right now. It's beginning to grow, but in the US, probably it's you can see there's so many EV companies, and it's so it's mainstream right now. If you look at American car review channels, there are many I have seen.
Mm.
So it's not something that some very means tech savvy people are doing it. It's regular people. Regular people are buying EVs right now.
Mm.
So they have reached this slope of enlightenment. So I think so when when AI reaches this slope of enlightenment and plateau of productivity, so some kind of interface will emerge. As I said, maybe Google or maybe Perplexity, where it will become so obvious that yes, the user interface, the technology will mature so much that it will become like the search engines of today. Nobody knows the algorithms, or it's not complicated. You just open a browser and search whatever you want. You don't have to be a tech savvy person. So maybe I don't know how long it will take, but once AI reaches this level of enlightenment, it will be like yes, be what search engines are right now.
Yeah, maybe.
And but I just wanted to ask one question. That Perplexity, they don't have their own models. They use other models to create those outputs, don't they? Doesn't they?
I think they use GPT or GPT-4 or
Yes,
something.
yes. So that's why I remember I watched some video or maybe some article that there are some options that okay, you are going to search something, ask a question, but you can use which model you can use to answer them. So it was, I forgot what it was. So whether it was
Mm.
Perplexity or something else. But right now I can see this. So yes, so
So talking about this, so many like new like those AI startups are also like rappers there. So they're GPT rappers mostly.
okay, is
Like
there?
behind the scenes, they're using GPT for API.
Hmm.
Just the front end is different, and maybe they're giving some front end features, but the
Okay.
model is not theirs. The model is GPT-4 itself, or Claude or any of this.
So
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 I think slowly the base models, the company that create these base models are like becoming solidified.
yes, this three is Claude. This what is the name of the company?
Yeah, will
I
Anthropic,
think
then
Anthropic. Yes, Anthropic. My this OpenAI and Gemini. These as far as non-free are concerned.
yeah.
And free there is Llama by Meta, then Mistral.
Mm.
These are the main. I would say whatever you say. These are the main ones who build the actual models, and the others just build on top of them, all the other AI
Yeah.
companies. Okay.
Actually, so talking about this graph also, there's one another topic I wanted to discuss. Or I can maybe I'll just discuss now only
Okay. Go on.
about all this AI hardware like human and rapid R1.
Hmm.
Are you aware of what this are?
Yes, I was going to talk about human next. So yes, you can talk about it.
Yeah. So one second. Right. So all these new kinds of device like the human pin, rabbit R1, they
Hmm.
are marketing themselves as AI first hardware. They are saying that traditional smartphones, there are a lot of steps
Uh,
that you need to manually do.
uh,
Whereas here, you just give the abstract idea
hmm.
of what you want, and they will just abstract the whole process.
Okay.
That is their promise. But
Hmm.
so, like, my question is, why do we need these kind of devices when smartphones exist? Like the human pin. Have you seen any review or any like? Do you
Yes,
know how the human pin works, right?
yes, I've watched Marcus Brownlee's video,
Yeah.
his review video. Yes.
So whatever that pin does,
Hmm.
that entire thing can be done by one, like like an application in our phone.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, we can just do it with our phone itself.
Hmm. Yes.
And what else? So yeah, can maybe do you have any other points?
Yes. About this. Yes. I know. So about human AI. So in the last few months, we have seen that there a new set of devices are coming. Maybe actually human AI, they actually have demoed a few, maybe almost a year ago, but to the public. First in February, there's the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, and now the human AI, and the recently the Rabbit, uh, whatever R1, I think so that was its name. I haven't watched or read much about Rabbit, but the other two I've watched quite a bit. So
Mm.
the thing is that, as in terms of personal computing, ever since the smartphone was released, when was it? 2007, the first iPhone. So after that, it's been how long? 16 years, I think. 16 or 17 years, maybe 16, 17 years. No other personal device. There weren't any other personal devices that were challenging the smartphone to be the primary ones or primary
Mm.
computing device for a person. And there were no devices that challenged smartphone to become the to remove to yes, to remove the smartphone and become the main computing device, personal computing device. But yes, in the past 2-3 months, we have seen that three devices have been launched. And yes, they are really not that good at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and yes, are they necessary or not? So so I think so it depends. See, smartphones are so good because it's been around for 17 years, so it has gone through multiple iterations and refinements, and that's why it's so smooth and good right now. uh, and that's why these other the Vision Pro and the Himania are not they are not even close to smartphones. But if you imagine the full potential of what an AI can do and what AR and VR can do, so now don't imagine the current level of technology at its peak, what it can do. So that won't be possible through a smartphone. For example, suppose forget how heavy the how heavy this Vision Pro is. What if it was just as small as a regular glasses that you wear? And suppose if you want if you, suppose you want to if you are trying to go to a place in city, and instead of looking at your map in your screen, it shows the path through an AR interface. Those kind of things. And you're just talking to your spectacles that, okay, I want to go to this shop, just start the directions for me. So in this AR futuristic specs, you can see all of those things. So I think so
Mhm.
eventually the technology is trying to go there, to that level, and we are here at the very beginning of it. And that's what I perceive. Maybe it will all fail, I don't know, or maybe it will be successful. So from my thing, that's what we are seeing, that maybe next 20-25 years, this will be that this is the moment, this is the beginning of them. So maybe there are videos, there are videos on YouTube where old videos of 1995, I think so. There was a talk show where they were talking about internet. So there's someone was asking, what is internet? What is this crazy thing? So I think so we are in
Mm.
that moment about uh, about about this new kind of technologies beyond smartphones. And I think the smartphones will be there for at least for the next 10 years or something, at least for the next 10 years, and maybe even beyond. Maybe there will be a combination of both of those two things, of such wearable devices and smartphones too. Because there are things that I think so, no matter how advanced those technologies get, some things are much more comfortable doing it in a smartphone as compared to the human AI pin. It's not very comfortable to do those things. So I think
Yeah.
so.
So
Yes,
yeah,
just go on.
yeah. What I'm trying to say is that the the idea is correct that that should be the ultimate use of AI. But
Uh,
then the question comes about what will happen to the applications now,
application.
because let's say, yeah, the applications by what that I mean, let's say you give some quite a complex thing for the AI to do.
Mm.
How should I say? Some example. Let's say you are in office. You say you give like a command to your AI
Uh,
that by the time I reach home,
uh,
I want this food delivered
uh,
and I want this movie to be ready to be
uh,
watched.
yes.
And what else? let's say it's a command that needs to use multiple services
Okay, I
in the
get it.
backend.
Okay.
So when you say music, is it going to use Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music? Will
Mm.
those things exist if you when you say you want this code
Mm.
from which service?
Yes.
And for payment, like credit, which credit card?
Okay.
Those kind of
Thanks.
logistical questions come in, right?
Yes, yes. I get it. So yeah,
So I don't like in the idea is it's quite futuristic.
ah,
You just give the command
yes.
and the AI take care of it. The step-by-step process is quite convoluted. Now, I mean, we need to trust the AI that it will use the right service.
Mm.
Maybe after a lot of trial and error, we'll get there. But at this point, like because if that kind of services take place, then this entire thing of this app store will not exist. And
Yes.
if that is not going to happen, then like that is a big source of revenue for both Apple and Google.
Yes,
Like there are
it
so
is.
many.
Ah,
Apple itself is going to court cases against Epic because they don't give them the 30%
yes.
that app revenue.
Uh,
So if AI takes away that service from people, or
uh,
the need for that is gone, this
yes.
kind of big companies has to be able to make profit of that also.
Hmm.
So
So to
yeah,
that, there are two things I would want to say. First is, yes, what were the two things? Yes, as far as one of the things I think is that there might always exist an app store and a smartphone. As I've said that some things have existed for centuries, like physical books. I think so. If you think we can actually remove all physical books right now, mostly
yeah,
because
yeah,
we can use smartphones, laptops, anything. But still, but those things are still manufactured because people still want to read physical books, and because there is something about it that people like, and it's not about convenience. It's of carrying 100 books in your smartphone. It's just about the feeling of reading a physical book. So some things will always be there, no matter how technologically ancient it might seem, like cycles and those things. There are some things that will always exist, and also some things that go away because it was really not uh, it's not convenient anymore, like Telegram and those kind of messaging technologies, which existed at the time, but it doesn't. I don't mean the Telegram app, the physical Telegram, whatever it was.
yeah,
So those things no longer exist. Those services no longer exist. So it depends, and that's why, as I said, that uh, smartphones has certain abilities that I would like ordering food and yes, ordering food, maybe booking a ticket. Some things just happen quickly in your mind. Like I can do it much faster in my hand than forming a sentence and telling someone else to do it, even to a
yeah,
human. Suppose I want to tell, suppose I even if I have a human assistant, I want to say that okay, on 15th of May I want to go to this destination at, and I want to look, and I don't want to wake up in the morning, so I want to take a flight at about 11 to 1 a.m. And this,
mm,
instead of explaining this to my human assistant, I'll just do it in my own phone. I don't want to explain it to anyone else. So maybe even in the future, I still want a service that can help me do it on my own, and not just me, most people would like that. So just like physical books still exist, there will be certain kind of this kind of apps might still exist, uh, and the app store and all those things. So that's one thing that I wanted to say, that some technologies might not ever go away, even if there are other far superior technologies. And the second thing is about change. So it's one thing that I learned a lot during some of our MBA classes about strategic management and those things, is that you have to continuously try and innovate, otherwise you'll perish. Innovate or die, or something. There's some phrase, something like that.
mm.
So even though I made this point that this kind of technologies might always exist, but even if it were to go away, the the sole of the objective of a company is always to try and innovate and keep at the front. See the classic example, you can see Nokia, BlackBerry. You can see what happened to them. Once they were the Apples and the Apple and the Samsungs of of mobile phones, but they thought that why should I invest in smartphones? Who will ever use smartphones? Keypads are so much uh, convenient. And what happened to both of them? They're non-existent right now. So, and that's their history. So, look at IBM at one point of time. They were so that they were a very big company, and now they are at the fringes. Yahoo.com. They were a very big company. Now they are just a search engine, or not even a search engine. What I don't know what they are right now, whatever they are. So they were big companies at a time, at a certain point of time, and they didn't think about the future and how to adapt. So a company is like like a biological organism. You have to adapt, otherwise the environment will change, and if you can do not adapt to it, some new organism will come and they will they'll take your place. So that's why companies try to think that okay, if this is coming, we better adapt to it. That's why Microsoft is going mad about AI. So they knew that okay, search engine we couldn't do anything. The last big innovation for Microsoft was the operating system. Apart from that, they couldn't do anything about search engine. They couldn't do anything about mobile operating system, Android. Google took over. So now they're seeing this opportunity. Okay, AI is coming. Now we can't let Google be the leader again. So they are even this month again. There's another company. I think so. It was named Inflection or something. Inflection, I think, yes. They brought this company and they took all over their CEOs, CIOs, everything. So, and I think so they have even invested in some French company. I think so was it Mistral or something else. So means they are going all in on AI. So that's the whole point is that they are trying to adapt. So they are not saying that okay, we already have this thing and we are trying to protect it. Even Google is doing the same. I mean, why is Google again trying to focus on AI? They are not just simply trying to protect whatever they already have, Play Store and everything, because they know that if suppose this technology it goes away, if there's something new, we don't want to be lagging behind. We want to be the market leader, or at least somewhere around the top. And if we just turn a blind eye on that, what happens if this new technology becomes mainstream and the current existing mainstream technology is being means people stop using them, so the whole market goes away. So the objective of a company is always to try and adopt and not just stick to what they already have. So that's why I think so. Apple is also now working on some AI model. I just heard on some news that it's some uh, AI test that will be a comparative test between was being done between models, and it performed
I
quite
think
well as well.
Apple is also like what is the word acquired many AI startups
Yes.
very soon.
So yes. So that's my point. So you see now they are not trying to just stop whatever the existing smartphone ecosystem. They're also trying to they have also recognized that maybe AI could be the next big ecosystem. The old ecosystem may not exist, and even if the old ecosystem exists, there might be a parallel ecosystem of AI. So they don't want to lose market share on that area as well. So they will try to adapt themselves to get there. So yes, that's one thing. So anything to
So then
add?
so then talking about this, I think we can segue into talking a little bit about that John Stewart video on false promises of AI.
Okay, okay.
Then like overall, like the main point of the video or whatever I understood is like AI is being marketed as the big solution to many of our problems.
Hmm.
Right? That
Yes.
will help us in like this as a curing disease, solving climate changes.
Yes.
But increasingly, these companies are trying to only increase their market capitalization or
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, market cap basically, and they are not really being used for this kind of what is the word?
Uh,
This kind of scenarios.
hmm.
Yet,
Yes.
so, and idea that once it will free us if and right, it is being used to let's say automate many of the tasks, many of the work that human beings engage in,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
like it is being said, it will leave us free to engage in more creative tasks.
Hmm.
So, what do you have? What do you think of this whole marketing or this whole idea that it will keep it will make us free to engage in more creative tasks and it will take away all the boring stuff?
Yes. Yes, means that yes, they have been saying that okay, it's being used to cure diseases and solve climate change, but the thing is that they are companies, so they also need to suppose if there's if they use it for means for climate change, how is the business model for them? If there isn't, they won't be able to make as much money as they want. So so what they're using it for practically is yes to reduce the amount of employees that they may need. So yes, so recently I was also looking at a video which says that the layoffs were increasing over the past few years. So initially, what they said was that okay, due to COVID, what happened is that the interest rates were reduced. But the point is that yes, the government were giving incentives that because of COVID, lot of there was this whole shutdown. The businesses were down, so government incentivized companies to grow, to run the economy. And so a lot of new businesses and startups and opportunities rose in 2021. But as but then in 2022, what happened is that it reached too much, and now government stopped incentivizing it, and so hence the layoffs in 2022 and 2023 was more of an effect of the over what is it called over recruitment in 2020 and 2021. So the past 2020 and 2023 is the correction of the over employment or the over recruitment. But what about 2024? So now people are saying that the reason why uh, more layoffs and less recruitments are happening is because of AI. It's not those incentives, government incentives anymore. It's actual AI. Now people are now they are actually replacing the work of three people. What used to be done, three people could do. Now one people can do five people's work through the help of AI. So yes, it's affecting the yes, it's yes, the employees are being affected. And as far as the practical uses are concerned, the life-saving uses, which I think someone say one of those in the video said that there are some scientific problems that human minds are not capable of solving, that AIs are they're using AI to solve. And they're correct that yes, AI has this potential to solve scientific problems that the human mind might take years or they may not be able to solve. Those things AI can solve, but the thing is that are they actually using it for them? Maybe they are using it to an extent, but if you want to go all in to train the models, so they will take a lot of computational resources, and if you're
Mm.
and computational resources will take money, and where will you get that money? Because basic scientific research, solving diseases, solving climate change is not as uh, it's not as monetizable as something which as some other economic activities like showing ads, using AI to train ad showing algorithms, which is not yes. So even though AI has potential, I don't think they are using it to its maximum to solve those kind of things that they are actually saying they are.
Yeah.
And
And
so
again,
yes,
yeah. So
go yes.
this
Continue.
this talk, this talk, like this promise that when AI will automate all the boring or like whatever task, we will engage in more creative tasks.
Hmm.
But in some degree, it's true that if they can help us reduce the time a lot. For example, even in my work, when I need to write a script for something, as long as I have the proper idea of what I want,
Hmm.
I don't really have to s- spend time learning about the libraries that I need to use.
Hmm.
Once I keep the idea, I get the code, I run it, and whatever error I fix it. So in that way, it saves a lot of time.
Yes.
But that does not mean that the free time that I get and I'm engaging in using it for more creative tasks.
Hmm.
From my point of view, mostly if what I wanted to do without AI would have taken me 2 to 3 days,
Yes.
like researching, finding the library, writing the code.
Ah.
If I did it in just one day, the next 2 days I'm not really doing much productive thing.
Okay.
And similarly, I think in some way it will apply to everyone, right? It's not that once everyone is free,
Ah.
they will automatically start engaging in this like mind-boggling creative work. People will be bored
Uh, yes, to an
and they
extent.
will
Sorry.
distract themselves.
I mean, to an extent, you are correct. You are correct, but again, uh, I think I think there is a complicated answer to this, and it's actually a good topic that you have
Yeah,
mentioned earlier.
it is a complicated answer, right? But
Yes.
uh,
Actually, what I
the
want.
average person is not really bothered with doing creative work. They just want to do their work and live their life.
Yes, and that's exactly what I wanted to say to an extent that it's not about doing creative work. It's also about sometimes AI can also help you spend time with family and friends. Suppose, yes, as you have said, instead of 2 3 days, you can do it in one day. Suppose because of that, suppose I know they are not going to do this, but suppose instead of 5 days a week or 6 days a week, they're just now telling that okay, you can work only for 3 days a week, and the next 3 days, a family person with a kids and wife can just spend time with their kids and wife. That doesn't mean that they are going to do some artwork. By creative, they said okay,
Yeah,
they are going to do some artwork or do something. Yes, no, just spend time with their families and everything. So that's something that could be done. But now what?
yeah, like
That but
that would be the
ideally,
ideal. Yeah, that
yes.
would be the ideal
But
use case. But that yeah,
what they're going to do is that okay, now since you can do 3 days work in one day, so why should I give you 3 day work for 3 days? Work for 5 days and now do 3 weeks work in one week. So that's what actually they're going to do.
mm,
So and yes, now that you have mentioned, maybe next month there will be one dedicated discussion about this how what work actually means and how our identity is tied to our work and how it has become because before this thing like now we say okay I am this like I am a whatever I'm in business or like I'm a financial analyst or I'm a this is my identity I was born for this so we become so tied with this thing but is our life all about that are we not something else or just a financial analyst or just a software engineer so this is I think so going beyond the topic but maybe some for some this is a discussion for some other day so
mm,
yes, again, this is a very sophisticated topic to discuss, so I'll not go much into that right now.
yeah, so I think we can move
So,
to another topic.
okay. Do you have any more other topic, or
We do have two more. I think we can discuss one of your points.
okay? Okay, I'll. So, uh, this will be a change of topic. I want to talk about Peter Higgs and what he did. Maybe I mentioned that Peter Higgs, the physicist, passed away this month at the age of 94. So he was known for his uh, he theorized the existence of he proposed the existence of the Higgs boson and the Higgs field. So I want to talk about what this thing is that he discussed, he researched upon. So the thing is that in the standard there is a model called the standard model of particle physics, which describes all the as far as the physical world is concerned, it describes all the physical matter and the forces. And let me show you a diagram if it's possible, a picture or a diagram. Okay. Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So here at the center is the Higgs boson. So this was the thing that was missing until 2020. Missing in the sense that theoretically they knew that this existed, but there was no practical evidence for its existence. Okay. So let me just start with these things. So fundamentally everything in this universe, or at least everything in the visible universe. So there are things called as dark matter and dark energy, which constitute about 95% of the whole universe. So we actually don't know 95% of the entire universe. Maybe we talked about this a few months ago when I was talking about dark matter and black holes, something like that, in some discussion. So the thing is that we don't know 95% of the entire universe. So practically we don't know anything of the universe. But of the 5% that we know, these are the things that it is all made up of. So in the outer circle, whatever these things are, these are known as fermions. And in the inside,
Yeah.
and inside these 4 plus the Higgs boson, these 5 are known as bosons. So fermions are the particles of which matter is made up of. Matter means any kind of matter,
Okay.
any physical matter, trees, humans, rocks, stars, anything physical that can be touched, or it is physical, is made up of these things. And it might seem in this outer ring there are 12 particles, but actually there are actually 4. First of all, we have this top and down. Can you see these two, top and down? So you know that atoms contains nucleus, and the nucleus contains protons and neutrons. So yeah, protons and neutrons are not fundamental particles. They can still be further broken down, and they are made up of what are known as quarks. Two types. There exist two type of quarks, top and down. So I think so. There is I don't exactly remember, like proton contains 2 top, 1 down, or something like that, and neutron contains 2 down, 1 top. I don't exactly remember the configuration, but in total they contain 3, 2 of one and 1 of the other. So, and since everything else, and okay, so protons and neutrons, they are made up of top and down quarks, and on the bottom we have 2 more. The one is electron, which is very well known. So electron is indeed a very fundamental particle. It's not made up of anything else with inside of this thing. And then the fourth is known as the tau, the neutrino, just the neutrino. Actually, this electron neutrino should come here. The electron neutrino should come here, not the tau neutrino. So on the bottom we have neutrino and electron. Neutrinos are massless particles, and they are they're very abundant, but in most particles, but in most physical, I want to just most in any other physical entities, it doesn't exist. So these 3, top, down, and electron, these are the 3 things out of which everything is made up of. So these are the 4. These are the fundamental particles. So if you look at the other 2 near top, can you see this charm and up?
Yeah.
So charm and up are just variations of top, and charm and up are variations of top strange and bottom are variations of down. Muon and tau are variations of electron, and tau neutrino and muon neutrino are variations of electron neutrino. Variations in the sense that they are similar but just bigger in size, and they do not constitute, they are very rare. Means no normal particle like your bodies and your laptop or anything, they do not contain this model. Just like a car, for example, you see there's iPhone Pro and there's iPhone Pro Max. They're the same thing, just one is the larger than the other. So it's the same thing. Top is the base model. The charm and up are the means the more expensive and the bigger ones. Think of it like that. Even down is the base model. These are the more expensive versions. So in this whole universe, all the things are made up of just the base models, the top, down, and here the electron, and actually is the electron neutrino. The other bigger models of these things are very rare. They are not, you can't find them in actual particles. They just, you might have heard the CERN particle accelerator, the circular thing. You might have.
Yeah.
So I think so the other things are only created when they do those circulations, the experiments in the air. So these are not actually present in actual particles or actual physical materials. So these are the four. These are what the matter is made up of. And the next we have these four things. These are known as force carriers. These are bosons. The outer ring is known as fermions, and these are bosons. And they carry forces between the particles. So how do particles interact with each other? Through forces. We have the four forces: the gravitational force, electromagnetic force, the strong force, and the weak force. So photon is responsible for the electromagnetic force. Whenever two objects attract or repel through electromagnetic force, that mechanism is done through the photons. These photons are transferred between the two objects, and that's how electromagnetic force happens. So similarly, the strong force, and the thing is that the strong force and the weak force only happen at the subatomic level. So when I say that three quarks form together to form a neutron and proton, so these three quarks are held together by the strong force, and this force interaction takes place through this particle, this boson particle known as gluon, this one. And then we have the weak particle, the weak force. So the weak force has two bosons, the W boson and the Z boson. Okay, and the things that's the thing that so the weak force does is nuclear fission. I think so. It was fission, not fusion. It was fission. So maybe you might remember that maybe in school in our physics classes that we were taught that a particle I actually forgot what it says, but the thing is that there's alpha decay, beta decay, gamma decay. Do you remember any of those things?
Yeah.
Yes. So
I remember those terms, but I don't know what they mean.
Yes. Even I don't have a very clear memory of it because it was a long time ago. So yes, those decay takes place because of this weak forces, and because of this decay, one element can turn into some other element. For example, okay, let's not go into the details when I don't remember. But the thing is that yes, the W boson and Z boson are the force carriers of the weak force. Okay, so these are the four ones, and you might now think that what about gravity? Where is the boson for gravity? The answer is there isn't. There isn't a boson that says how gravity interacts, and that's why this model is incomplete. So there is no theory that can explain this one. So gravity, it can be explained with this model. So that's incomplete. So apart from that, it's almost complete. And the only thing that was missing was boson, because because none of the other particles have mass. And without mass, now it gets a bit technical. It's beyond the level of my understanding. It requires superior knowledge about why mass is needed. But the thing is that the thing we can understand as layperson is that mass is very important for this whole model to work and for the forces to interact with the particles. The concept of mass is necessary. And in the 60s, Peter Higgs theorized that there has to exist a Higgs field, which constitutes of their own particles known as Higgs bosons, which is responsible for giving mass. And based on that theory, they built this whole model. But they were not able to prove that their model were accurate because the Higgs boson only existed in theory. There was no practical there is no real life proof that the Higgs boson and the Higgs field actually existed. That was until 2012 when they actually found, during the CERN experiments, they finally detected the Higgs boson, and it was finally confirmed that yes, the Higgs boson actually exists. And so in 2013, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics. And yes, that was his story. And the thing is that unlike many physicists or many scientists, these people work for their whole lives. If you look at Newton, he did so many things. The things about optics, gravity, inverted calculus, and even if you look at Einstein, he worked throughout his life till his death. Unlike that, Peter Higgs wasn't like that. So his story is different. In that, once he theorized the existence of Higgs, the Higgs boson, which actually he didn't call it the Higgs boson. I think so. He called it the scalar boson or something, because all the others are vector quantities. This is the only thing that's a scalar quantity. So you remember the vectors and scalars, which is it is both value and
Direction.
Yes, scalar Higgs boson, as it said, it doesn't have any direction. It's a scalar quantity. So out of all the other things, this is the only scalar quantity. So he named it as scalar boson. So once he theorized this thing, then he didn't do much in physics. He got more involved in the university and the university politics and all of those things. And finally, he retired in 1996, I think so. He retired in 1996. So and he did this in 1960s, I think so. And apart from that one, he went on to give some public lectures on his and how he came up with the idea of Higgs boson and those things and all of those things. So yes, even though at the time of receiving his Nobel Prize, I think so, he was retired for 18 years. He wasn't actively involved in any physics research. I think so, because he retired in 1996. So yes, so that was his life and his work. And anything, so what do you have to talk about next?
You have any topic?
No, this was my last.
I have two more smaller topic only.
Okay.
One is about AI generated music. So recently, Drake used some AI generated music. Are you aware of this story or this news?
No, I am not. Well, recently, no, no, I'm not aware of
Yeah,
it.
recently it's like last week, I guess. So
Okay.
basically, there's a lot of diss tracks going on now.
Mm.
So Drake used AI generated voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
So from I don't know what's the response or reaction from Snoop Dogg, but there's something called Tupac's estate or something.
Okay.
and they manage. I guess they manage Tupac's music or those things. So he
Okay.
has been getting legal threats from them regarding this, the use of AI Tupac, AI's Tupac, like Tupac's AI's voice.
Okay.
And I think this is the first time a big artist like has used AI generated music.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
ultimately like brings the question of
Yes. The legal aspects.
the legal aspects of AI,
Uh,
use of, because some artists, what should I say, there has been a lot of AI generated music available already in YouTube.
yes.
For I like listen to quite a lot of Linkin Park's AI generated music. It's
Yes.
very accurate actually.
Yes. Yes. I've listened to it too.
Yeah, but there is no such response from those teams. But ultimately, I think it comes down to money itself. Because if there is money to be made from this AI generated music,
Hmm.
like if someone is using Tupac's voice and he's getting money,
Yes. Then
and the AI to the Tupac's estate or some kind of agency already exists who manages Tupac's money, why will they let
as
them
someone else.
just use the voice?
Hmm. I think so. That's a valid response from those that team.
Yeah.
This moment.
But then again, the case is similar with AI images, right? There has been all the images that have been generated
Hmm.
are trained on other people's uh,
Images.
images,
Yes.
but there is no such kind of authority or like an agency that will sue other people for using this. And it's
Ah.
not very easy to like trace it back to who the original source is.
Hmm. Yes.
For AI generated, with the voice is there, so it's quite simply you can just know who the voice they're copying.
Yes. Hmm.
But for AI images, it becomes quite vague.
Yes.
And
Yes. So it's
yeah,
so the legal aspects of it means it has to evolve with the new technological innovation. So yes. Uh,
that is all. I think for this story, there's not much.
okay. So
The last one news is
okay.
the death of Google Podcast. So I think Google has closed or they're closing
Yes,
the
I've
Google
heard that.
Podcast app.
Yeah. At
I
least I
think
think
this
so
is a very common like pattern for Google. Right? They will come up with a lot of apps, a lot of services, but over time, after a certain amount of time, they just close it.
yes.
Like Google
I've
Duo, Google Hangouts.
hmm. There's a social media about Google as well. I forgot what it was. Was it
Yeah,
Hangouts? Not Hangouts.
so Google Plus or something.
Yes, Google Plus. Yes, Google Plus.
Actually, there's a term called Google Graveyard. Now, if you search on Google, like yeah, if you search on Google for
Ever
Google
be
Graveyard,
clear? Yes.
there's a website. There's all the services that they've closed till now. There's a lot of services that they start and they
Yes.
close. But yeah, but for Google Podcast, the thing is, it's not just one branch or that comes up with products. They have multiple subdivisions, right? That
Ah. Yes.
sometimes come up with similar products.
Okay.
So they already have Google Podcasts and they have YouTube Music.
Yes. Now they're merging these two right now, aren't they?
Mm.
At least in
Basically,
it.
they're just basically you will have an option to listen to podcasts in YouTube Music also.
Yes.
But the people working for Google Podcasts, I think they are not working for YouTube Music.
Okay. Okay.
So different branches of Google tend to come up with
Offers
similar similar market
products
that try to like yeah they try to
compete with each
take
other.
this compete with each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
at some point they will have to close one of them.
Yes. So yes, but now yes, you can listen. I listen to podcasts on YouTube Music. So yes, and I I heard that during the early first week of April, I think so. Google Podcast it was shut down on in the US. I don't know whether it is still available in India or not, but yes.
Mm. But the difference between music and podcast is like podcasts, they follow some kind of RSS system or something.
Yes. Yes.
So it should be able, like anyone can create a podcast app without having to go through any. I don't think you need any legal requirements to, what is it
Create.
called, to have someone's podcast in your platform.
Okay. Okay.
Like if I create an, okay, maybe if there's some exclusive deal, that is different thing,
Right.
but most podcasts are based on the RSS system.
Okay.
So I can create a website and I can use their RSS service and I can have their podcast in my platform.
Get it.
So the monetization of podcast platforms are also quite difficult. You need to give some other services. You
Hmm.
cannot directly gain revenue from the podcast itself.
Yes. Yes. So that's yes, but at the same time, it also gives freedom. I think so. I think yes, it is a very non-capitalistic model in a sense because it gives freedom for the ones creating those podcasts because they can be on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So what, that is in very contrast to YouTube. It's like you have they are monopolistic. Man, you have to they can demonetize you whenever they want. If you don't follow certain policies, if you say certain words which they don't like, just they'll demonetize you, and you have to adhere to YouTube's terms and conditions. So I wonder if it might be possible to have something for video, an RSS equivalent for a video, so anyone can
Maybe, yeah.
it's good for actually it's good for both the creators and the viewers as well. So right now
Yeah.
I use a different app for watching YouTube, which watching videos, and I don't know if it's legal or not, but I think so. It's legal, probably legal. So the interface is very different here, and it's an open source. I think so. The makers probably don't make any money from this app, but anyway, uh,
Is it from Android?
Android. No, oh no. What are you saying? The name of the app?
Android is an open source app store.
No, I think so. It has its own website. I think so. I think so. It has its own website. So I downloaded it from there, and uh, yes. So in the sense that it's not very distracting, and it is in terms of the recommendation system, and there are no ads, and overall it's a much better user interface. So it's the same thing that the videos are the same, but different people might prefer different kind of user interfaces. So that is available with podcasts. There are different podcast apps, each with their own interfaces, and the way you can save them, the way you can create playlists, and so on and so forth. So such kind of things are not available on YouTube. There's just one app for it. So
Yeah.
yes, so yes, that's the thing. So anything else?
No, I think I'm done for. I've completed all the topics today.
Okay, so I'm done too. So we can edit. I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.